There are so many different sizes of pistols today. Full size, compact, subcompact, micro-compact, but a newer one is the crossover style pistol. It's essentially a hybrid of two different classes of pistols. Take this GLOCK 19X for example. It combines the frame of the larger, full-size GLOCK 17 with the compact, shorter slide length of the GLOCK 19. It's as if you mash two guns together to get the best of both worlds. From there, we've gotten many variations of these crossover pistols from GLOCK. Which makes me wonder, when we already have so many pistol options, how did we get here? Are they worth it? Well, the road to getting the 19X into civilian hands is a bit more dramatic than you'd think. To answer this, we have to go back a decade or so. August 28, 2015. The US Army officially announces the Modular Handgun System competition, intending to select a new, more capable handgun system for the next generation of service members. And it's no joke. The Army states it plans to purchase more than 280,000 full-size handguns and approximately 7,000 compact versions of the handgun. Alongside this announcement is a 351-page request for proposal valued at $580 million, detailing the specific requirements of the new handgun. The pistol had to be adaptable for multiple calibers and not be locked to a single cartridge. Modular features were critical, such as interchangeable grips, the ability to host suppressors, compatibility with different magazine capacities, and standard accessories like lights and lasers were required, and both ambidextrous controls and an external manual safety were important for left and right-handed shooters. And instead of the traditional black finish of the M9 or M11, the weapon was to be finished in a neutral earth tone color. The Army also expected these pistols to reliably fire both traditional ball and modern hollow point ammunition. Three other critical components were that the handgun system would ideally include both full-size and compact options, or one model that could effectively do both jobs. The contract also called for delivery of millions of rounds of ammunition. In the end, the US Army could choose up to 3 offerings that satisfied all these requirements. We'll get back to these points because they'll quickly become important. The world's top firearm manufacturers submitted bids. Glock, Sig Sauer, Smith & Wesson, F&H, Beretta, and more submitted entries. Beretta even offered an updated modular version of its M9, but this ultimately wasn't accepted. Each of these entries would be evaluated based on 9 factors, and awards would be made to the proposals that are most advantageous and represent the best value to the government in their relative order of importance. The Army tested each of these candidates, eventually down-selecting 2 of the strongest contenders, Glock and Sig Sauer. Now, remember the requirement to have either one full-size pistol and one compact pistol, or a single pistol that could do both? Well, Glock bet on the crossover approach, submitting the GLOCK 19X, which merged the full-size frame of the GLOCK 17 with the more compact slide of the GLOCK 19. Sig Sauer offered their XM17 and XM18 handguns, which we now know to be the M17 and M18 respectively. January 19th, 2017. The Army announces Sig Sauer's XM17 and XM18s as the winners and awards them the production contract. Its partnership with Winchester for ammunition supply also added value to their submission. While Glock's 19X performed well and even slightly outshined the XM17 in mean rounds between stoppages, the Sig submission was rated higher in technical evaluation overall and manufacturing license rights. Price was also a major factor. Sig's bid was $169.5 million, while Glock's was $272.2 million, making Sig's offer more than $100 million less for a similarly performing pistol. In other words, according to the decision makers, there simply wasn't enough advantage in Glock's proposal to justify the higher cost. This decision wasn't without controversy. Glock submitted a protest to the US Government Accountability Office, outlining several concerns of the outcome. Glock stated that the contract language required more than one base award, but the Army and legal authorities found that multiple awards were not mandatory. Specifically, it stated on page 8 in its response to Glock, "We think that the most reasonable interpretation of this solicitation is that the Army is permitted to award only one base contract. Although Section M expressed the agency's plan to award 1, 2, or 3 contracts, this expression cannot reasonably be read as creating a legal requirement for multiple awards." Ultimately, the Army said that it looked at the proposal as a whole, not based solely on performance of each pistol. The Government Accountability Office stated the following on page 6. "Based on the technical evaluation and my comparative analysis of the proposals, the advantage of the Sig Sauer proposal is increased when the license rights and production manufacturing factors are brought into consideration. The price analysis shows that the Sig Sauer total evaluated price is $102 million less than the Glock total evaluated price, making the Sig Sauer proposal overall the best value to the government. Basically, when compared to Sig's bid, Glock's bid just wasn't worth the extra price. Even after losing the modular handgun system contract, Glock found a silver lining. In January 2018, Glock brought the 19X to the civilian market. Within just 6 months, Glock sold over 100,000 units. The 19X's crossover design helped spark a civilian trend for similar pistols. So, even if Glock didn't win the modular handgun system competition, its 19X was, and still remains, a very well-selling pistol today. Alright guys, coming to you from a rainy day here. I definitely need better clothes, because right now I'm getting pissed on. But you know, it is what it is, you make do. So, Glock 19X, why did I get it? Well, for this guy, honestly, I just think it looks really pretty. I gotta admit, that's probably the biggest reason. I've shot about maybe 750 rounds through it or so. About 700 of those were 124 grain, 9mm F&J. Then the other was, the rest was just your plain Jane 115 grain full metal jacket. This gun really likes 124 grain. I was shooting at about 30 meters or whatever at the flat range, and it would group really well with 124 grain. 115, just fine, but I did notice a difference. Maybe it's a practice thing. Maybe one was an off day, maybe one wasn't. Regardless, it's been a really excellent gun so far. For my light, I'm using the TLR1. It's been great. I've always been very used to this. I originally wanted to put the TLR7 on here, thinking it would make it maybe just that much more compact, you know, just by a little bit, but I haven't bought that yet and I don't have a holster for it, so I'm just rocking the TLR1 instead. And, you know, I don't think I'm really in a rush to change it. I think it looks good, works great, not like I ever really need to use a light, but, you know, I think it's fine and I'll keep it for now. Now, would I really say that this gun is that much different from my Glock 17? I think unloaded, I do kind of recognize that it's a bit different. You know, the 17 is a little more kind of a little more front end heavy because you have a little extra slide there. Performance-wise and functionality, I don't really notice a difference. You know, maybe some people have noticed an actual big difference, but for me, I think it's really practice at the end of the day is key. I don't think there's really enough for the 17 frame and the 19 slide, especially because I have the same TLR1 on my Glock 17 that I do on this 19X. So overall, the length is the same and the holster is the same. No, I don't think it makes a very big difference for me, which is concealed carry.